You felt it, didn't you? That sudden shift in her energy, the way her responses went from warm to cold, from eager to distant. One moment, everything seemed to be flowing perfectly, and then suddenly, without warning, she pulled back. Her texts got shorter, her replies took longer, and that familiar knot of anxiety started forming in your stomach. You asked yourself the same questions that have haunted men for generations. Did I say something wrong? Is there someone else? Should I text her again? Should I back off completely? And that spiral, that mental chaos, is exactly where she wants you. Because here is the truth that most men never understand. She is not ignoring you, at least not in the way you think. She is watching. She is measuring. And every single move you make right now is being cataloged in her mind as evidence of who you really are. But here's what is going to sound absolutely insane. The guys who pass her test, they do something so counterintuitive, so against every instinct you have, that when I reveal it, half of you will not believe me. The other half will feel stupid for not seeing it sooner. And there is proof, scientific proof, a study that dating experts pray you never find out about because it destroys everything they have been teaching you. But I am going to show you exactly what that study revealed and why it changes everything. Most guys see a delayed response and panic. They see a short text and think she has lost interest. They see her pulling back and immediately start chasing harder. But what if I told you that is exactly what she is waiting for? What if her distance is not rejection? It is a test. And there is one specific thing she does at exactly the 72-hour mark that 99% of men completely miss. It is so subtle that when I tell you what it is, you will go back through your messages right now and realize you have been failing this test your entire life. I am going to show you the exact signs that she is testing you, not ghosting you, and more importantly, the forbidden move that passes the test automatically. A move so psychologically powerful that pickup artists charge thousands of dollars just to teach this one technique. But it is actually so simple a 12-year-old could do it. The problem is that it goes against every fiber of your being. Your ego will fight you on this. Your pride will tell you it is wrong. But I am going to prove to you why it works with real examples, real psychology, and a technique used by professionals that somehow applies perfectly to dating. Because once you see what is really happening, you will stop making the 3 fatal mistakes that push her away. Mistakes that seem right, that feel natural, but that destroy your chances instantly. And you will start doing the one thing that pulls her closer. The thing most men are too scared to do. The thing that seems wrong, but works every single time. Let us start with the uncomfortable truth. Why she is testing you in the first place, and the shocking evolutionary reason why the guys who pass this test are the ones she actually wants. This is going to make you angry at first, but then it is going to click, and you will see every interaction differently. Here's what is happening. You have been talking maybe for days, maybe weeks. The energy was good, the vibe was there, and then suddenly everything shifts. Her texts get shorter, her responses take longer. She is online, but not replying to you. And when you ask what is wrong, she says, nothing. I am just busy. Your brain goes into overdrive. Did I say something wrong? Is there someone else? Should I text her again? Should I back off completely? And that spiral, that is the test beginning. But here's the part that is going to blow your mind. She does not even know she is doing it. This is subconscious, biological, hardwired into female psychology over thousands of years, and there is an actual name for this phenomenon in evolutionary psychology. It is called mate value assessment. But that is just the technical term. What is really happening is far more primal and far more manipulative than you think, because here's what most men do not understand. Women do not fall for words. They do not fall for promises. They fall for behavior under pressure. She wants to see if you are the same guy when things get uncertain, when she is not giving you attention, when you are not getting validation. Because if you crumble now, you will crumble later when real challenges hit. But wait, it gets deeper. There is a specific psychological trigger happening in her brain right now that I need to explain. Because once you understand this, everything about female behavior will make sense. It is connected to something called intermittent reinforcement, the same psychological principle that makes gambling addictive, and she is using it on you right now without even knowing it. Think about it. If she gives you constant attention and you are confident, great. But what happens when she is busy with work, with family, with life? Will you become needy? Will you doubt her? Will you smother her with insecurity? She is finding out now, and the way you react tells her everything she needs to know about your emotional maturity, your self-worth, your frame. So when she pulls back, she is not walking away. She is stepping back to see if you will chase or if you will stand still, strong, unbothered, living your life. And here's the brutal part that no one talks about. If you chase, you fail. If you panic, you fail. If you flood her with messages asking what is wrong, you have just proven you cannot handle uncertainty. And uncertainty is everywhere in relationships. But there is something even worse. You can do something that most men do instinctively. Something that seems like the right move, the mature move, the respectful move, but it actually confirms her worst fears about you and kills attraction instantly. I will reveal what that deadly mistake is in just a moment, but first, you need to understand why it is so destructive. She is not ignoring you. She is reading you. And the question is, what is the story your behavior is telling her right now? Because there are 3 specific behaviors that instantly fail the test, and I guarantee you have done at least 2 of them in the past 48 hours. One of them you probably did today. Now let me show you exactly how to spot when it is a test versus when she is actually done, because there is a difference. And knowing it changes everything. But here's the twist. One of these signs seems like she hates you, but it actually means she is falling for you. And I can prove it. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button right now, because what I'm about to tell you next goes against everything you have been taught about dating. This is the stuff that gets me hate comments. The stuff that sounds too good to be true, but I am going to back it up with psychology, with studies, and with real examples from guys who have used this. If you are not taking notes, you are going to forget the most important part. Let us keep going. Here's the first sign she is testing you, not ghosting you. And this one is going to sound completely backwards. She is still watching. Her texts might be short, but she is viewing your stories. She is liking your posts. Maybe not immediately, but she is checking in. Why? Because a woman who is truly done does not keep tabs. She moves on completely. But if she is still in your digital orbit, even quietly, she is keeping the door cracked. She wants to see how you are doing without her validation. But here is where it gets interesting, and this is where most guys mess up without realizing it. There is a specific pattern to when she views your content. If she views your story within the first hour, she is casually interested. If she views it after 12 hours, she is obsessing. And if you notice this pattern 3 times in a row, you will know with certainty that she is thinking about you before bed. I will explain the psychology behind this in a moment, but first, sign number 2. Second sign, her responses are delayed but not dead. She is not leaving you on red forever. She is just not jumping to reply. This is intentional. She wants to see if you will spiral, if you will double text, if you will get needy. Women who have lost interest do not breadcrumb, they just disappear. But if she is still responding, even slowly, she is testing your patience, your confidence, your ability to not fall apart when things are not perfect. Now, here's the part that is going to sound absolutely insane, and I need you to trust me on this because it defies all logic. The longer she takes to respond, the more interested she actually is. I know that sounds completely backwards, like I am lying to you, but there is a psychological reason for this that was discovered in a study on dating behavior. And when you understand this principle, you will never panic about delayed texts again. The study found that women who are genuinely interested will deliberately delay responses to create what is called manufactured scarcity. They are making themselves seem less available to test if you are worth their time. It is unconscious, but it is real. And here is the kicker. If she responds immediately every time, she is either not that interested or you are not the only guy she is talking to. Harsh truth, but you need to hear it. Third sign, and is the one that confuses guys the most. This is the one that makes men lose their minds. She mentions other guys casually, not to hurt you, not because she is actually interested in them, but to see your reaction. Will you get jealous? Will you compete? Will you try to prove you are better than some random guy she mentioned? Or will you stay calm, unbothered? Because that reaction tells her whether you see yourself as a catch or as someone fighting for scraps. But I am going to tell you something controversial, something that dating coaches will never admit because it sounds too aggressive. There is actually a specific way to respond when she does this that makes her instantly regret bringing it up. A response so powerful that she will never mention another guy again, and it is only 4 words long. I learned this from a professional negotiator. Yes, seriously. And somehow this technique used to disarm difficult people works perfectly in dating. I will tell you what those 4 words are, but not yet. Because if you use them wrong, you will come off as an insecure jerk. You need to understand the psychology first. 4th sign. She creates space but does not cut ties. She might say she needs time to focus on herself or that she is busy with work, But she does not block you, does not unfriend you, does not close the door completely. That is not rejection. That is calibration. She is seeing if you respect boundaries or if you will push, plead, and pressure. And the guys who give her space, they are the ones who intrigue her most. But there is a hidden test within this test. Something she does exactly 5 to 7 days after creating space that reveals whether she wants you to fight for her or let her go. And if you miss this signal, you will make the wrong move every single time. Most men miss it because they are too busy overthinking, but once you know what to look for, it is obvious. Now here is the key. When you recognize these signs, you do not react. You respond, and there is a massive difference. Reacting is emotional, impulsive, needy. Responding is calm, intentional, grounded. So what does that look like in practice? This is where most guys mess up. They think they need to do something big, something impressive, grand gestures, paragraphs of text, showing up at her door. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. And it is going to sound like I am trolling you when I say this. The secret is this: you do nothing. You stay calm. You stay grounded. You stay focused on your own life. You do not chase. You do not beg. You do not ask what is wrong. You do not send paragraphs of emotional text. You simply continue living your life as if her distance does not affect you. Not because you do not care, but because your sense of self-worth is not dependent on her validation. This is the forbidden move. This is what passes the test automatically, because when she pulls back and you do not chase, you send a powerful message. I am not desperate. I am not afraid of losing you. I am complete with or without you. And that message, more than any words you could ever say, is what makes her chase you. The psychologist Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century, observed that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. When you respond to her distance with calm stability, you transform the dynamic. You become the person who cannot be easily shaken, and that stability is deeply attractive. It signals that you are someone who can handle the ups and downs of life without losing your center. And that is exactly what she is looking for. Now, let me tell you about a friend of mine. Let us call him Marcus. Marcus was the kind of guy who did everything right, or so he thought. He texted back immediately. He always made himself available. He showered women with attention and compliments, and he kept getting ghosted over and over again. He could not figure out why. He was a good guy. He was successful. He was funny. But women kept pulling away, and then he learned the secret. He learned that when a woman pulls back, the worst thing you can do is chase. So he changed his approach. The next time a woman went cold on him, he did not panic. He did not text her asking what was wrong. He simply went about his life. He posted on social media. He hung out with friends. He focused on his work. Within a week, that woman was reaching out to him asking why he had not texted her. He went from being the guy who chased to the guy who was chased. And within a month, he had 3 women competing for his attention. Not because he changed anything about himself, but because he stopped making himself so available. He stopped rewarding the silence with attention. He stopped proving his worth through constant validation. And that shift, that quiet recalibration, is what made all the difference. The philosopher Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, wrote that no man is free who is not master of himself. And when you are chasing a woman who has pulled back, you are not free. You are controlled by her. You are controlled by your fear of losing her. You are controlled by your need for her validation. But when you step back, when you focus on your own life, when you master your own impulses, you become free. And freedom is the most attractive quality a man can possess. The philosopher Seneca observed that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. And when you waste your time chasing someone who is pulling away, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your energy. You are wasting your emotional stability. But when you step back, when you focus on your own life, you are using your time wisely. You are building something that matters, and that is what makes you truly attractive. Now, let me reveal the 4-word response that makes her instantly regret mentioning other guys. When she casually mentions another man, you look at her calmly and say, I am not competing. That is it. 4 words. No anger, no jealousy, no insecurity. Just a calm, grounded statement of fact. I am not competing. What this says to her is that you know your own worth. You are not going to fight for her attention like a dog fighting for scraps. You are a man with options, and if she wants to be part of your life, she needs to choose you. You are not going to chase her. You are not going to prove yourself against some random guy. You are simply going to be who you are, and if that is not enough for her, that is her loss. This response is so powerful because it completely disarms the test. She mentioned other guys to see if you would get jealous. Instead of getting jealous, you showed that you are unfazed. You showed that you are not threatened by other men. And that calm confidence is what makes her realize she wants you more than anyone else. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, wrote that we have power over our minds, not outside events. When she tests you, that is an outside event. You cannot control what she does, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to respond with calm confidence rather than anxiety. You can choose to respond from strength rather than weakness. And that choice is what determines the outcome of the test. The philosopher Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the goal of life is to live in agreement with nature, and it is human nature to be drawn to strength. When you respond to her test with strength, you are living in agreement with that nature. You are becoming the kind of man that women naturally desire. There is also the callback technique that seals the deal. This is a way of reminding her of the positive connection you have already built without coming across as needy or desperate. For example, if you had a great conversation about something she is passionate about, you can reference it casually in a later text. Hey, I saw something today that reminded me of that conversation we had about travel. Made me smile. This reminds her of the emotional connection you shared. It shows that you remember the details. It shows that you are present and thoughtful. But it does not pressure her for a response. It does not demand anything from her. It simply puts a positive memory back in her mind, and that is often enough to reopen the door. If this shifted something for you, drop a comment with the word secure. I want to know you are ready to level up. Hit that subscribe button because in my next video, I am revealing 3 things. 1, that 4-word response I mentioned that makes her regret bringing up other guys. 2, the exact text message that ends the test and makes her chase you. And 3, the callback technique that seals the deal. You do not want to miss it. These are tactics I usually keep private, but I am putting it all out there. The philosopher Epictetus reminded us that we should not seek to have events happen as we wish, but to wish them to happen as they do happen. When you accept her test for what it is, when you respond with calm and stability, you are wishing for events to happen as they do. You are accepting reality and responding from strength. And that is what makes you irresistible. Not because you are trying to be, but because you have stopped trying to be anything other than yourself. So, the next time she pulls back, the next time her responses get shorter, the next time she tests you, remember this. She is not ignoring you. She is reading you. She is measuring your emotional stability, your confidence, your self-worth, and the way you respond will determine everything. If you chase, you fail. If you panic, you fail. If you flood her with messages, you fail. But if you stay calm, if you stay grounded, if you stay focused on your own life, you pass the test. And when you pass the test, she sees you differently. She sees you as a man who is not controlled by his emotions. She sees you as a man who is not desperate for her validation. She sees you as a man who is whole and complete with or without her. And that is exactly what she is looking for. That is what makes her want you. That is what makes her chase you. That is what makes her yours. The philosopher Heraclitus, a Stoic who wrote extensively on ethics, observed that we should approach others as we would approach ourselves with patience and understanding. When you approach her test with patience and understanding, when you do not react with emotion but respond with stability, you are approaching yourself with the same patience and understanding. You are honoring your own dignity. And that honor is what makes you truly attractive. So, stay grounded, stay present. And remember, the test is not a rejection, it is an invitation to show her who you really are. And if you are the kind of man who can handle the test with grace, she will not be able to resist you. That is the truth. That is the psychology. And that is the secret. Use it well.